here in a minute. Yo. Let me go ahead and get Z up in here, man. Z, go ahead and request to join, bro. Request to join. Everybody that's coming in here, we're going to get started real soon. Make sure y'all sharing this out. Y'all go ahead and share this out with 5 people. Comment down, man. We got something special for y'all. Get my boy in here. There we go. Should be hopping in here. There he is.
So here's how this works. Yeah.
There he is. Man, if y'all joining, go ahead and share this out with 5 people. Comment down. Let us know. Got some good value coming tonight. Huggy in here.
Little Huggy Sims, man. That's what I love to see, man. Y'all boys still in.
Yes, sir.
Still in, man.
Y'all hopping in here. Share this out with 5 people. Comment down. Let us know. Yes, sir. What's good, y'all? If y'all got questions.
I love my people. TJ, Coach.
Y'all got
Coach,
questions.
what's up, man?
Here. Got a bunch of information coming at y'all tonight.
Yeah, man. Share this with a couple of people, man. We want to
Appreciate you, Sam. Appreciate you, Sam.
Appreciate you, Six.
Yeah, y'all
We're trying to get
right
this information away, brother. Everybody need it.
Y'all joining now. Go ahead and share this out with 5 people. Comment down for us. Show us some love, man. Let me pin this real quick. All right. Lotto.
Haney, what's good with you, baby?
Yeah. Give people a few more minutes to hop in. Appreciate you, Tay. Appreciate y'all. Open lab. Let's see what else in here. Yeah. I'm about to go ahead and get started here in a second. Man, what y'all want to hear about, man? If y'all got something, you can drop it in here. Otherwise, we got a topic we're going to be going over tonight.
Yeah. So y'all know what we talking about, man. Anybody that got a business or something going on right now that they got questions ahead of time before we start going over a few topics, just drop it. Even an industry that you might be interested in, just drop it for us.
A lot of value. A lot of game. All right, let's see. Business funding. Okay. All right, Tay. We talk about that for sure. We definitely talk about that.
Yours is a little bit quicker than mine. All right, Ray, what's up, baby? Ray, you really need to ask some questions in here too, dog. Stay in here for a little bit with me. Stay for a little bit,
Real
man.
estate. Okay. I like that. We got business funding, real estate. Yo. Perfect. All right, cool. We getting some people in here. People gonna roll in and out. It's just gonna be a part of the process. Yeah. All right, cool. So you go ahead and drop what we talking about, bro. I'm gonna pin the comment on here.
All right, so basically what we're gonna go over right now, first topic we want to look at is what exactly should be on your personal report. And what I want to hit on about this topic, y'all, is it's gonna be mainly about your mindset too and how you attacking it. So go ahead and tell them exactly, what's on the credit report, exactly what they need to be looking at, and I'll put it up here and pinned it. So your personal credit report. And what I do want to mention is personal and business. They also do go hand in hand, especially when you first getting started. So everybody want to make sure that you know they print up their personal credit report, exactly what's on it. And my boy Trey
Mm-hmm.
gonna let you know exactly what it's supposed to look like.
All right, y'all. So cool. First things first, we gotta talk about mindset and why we're even talking about credit. Why it's so important, right? So most of us grew up with some understanding of like, hey, only use credit cards for dire situations. Use them on gas. Don't really utilize them. That's the first thing we gotta get out of our mind, right? First things first is we gotta realize that when it comes to credit, right, we should be leveraging it to get other things, right? So it's this idea of what you call OPM. So you're gonna hear us use this word. OPM stands for other people's money, right? Because essentially what you're doing when you go out and get credit is you're leveraging a 30 to 32-day time span to go out, use the funding for something else. So we have to start with we got to start with figuring out what exactly um, what your credit report should look like. So let's talk about the score. That's the biggest thing everybody wants to talk about, right? Like, hey, what's your score supposed to be? How high is it supposed to be? I know a lot of people say a variety of different things, and if y'all hopping in here too, go ahead and drop what you think like a good credit score is, right?
Yeah, yeah. We
I want
want
to
to
hear
get
what
y'all. We
people
want
say.
to get them engaged. Y'all boys get engaged. So tell me, if I'm going to go get something, going to go purchase something, what do y'all think is a qualified credit score that I need to have?
Yeah, let me get one or two examples of what y'all think a good credit score is. I want to hear a good credit score. 700 plus. Okay, okay. T being here playing, man. Who that? John. Let's see, 700 plus. Ike says 700 plus. Let me get one more before we break this down real quick. Let me get one more before we break this down.
Hold on, man.
There.
Hey, anybody on here? I don't know why my comments not popping up.
730. Okay, cool. 730. All right, bet. So we got two. So look, I'm gonna go ahead and break this down. So essentially, right, your credit score. I know a lot of people not gonna want to hear this. It's important, but it's not everything. Let me go ahead and break this down. So look, at one point I had a 780 credit score. 780. I was feeling good. Oh, okay, cool. Like I got 780. It's not about the score, it's about what's on the report. So tonight we're gonna be breaking down what is a personal report supposed to look like. Somebody else says 750. Those are all great answers, right? You want to have a 700 plus, but it's all about what's on that credit score. So if you have a 780, but you don't have any trade lines, right, and you don't have any high limit recurring revolving lines of credit, right, then it doesn't mean anything. So let me break that down, right? So a trade line, okay, when you go out and get a house, when you go out and get a car, anything which is an installment loan, right, which is a car or a house, is considered a trade line. When it's sitting on your credit report over a period of time, right, you want to make sure that that is actually building your credit up. So a lot of us here, right, unfortunately, I was able to, go to school as an athlete, right, but not everybody's able to do that. So, yeah, it's saying you might have to leave, Z, for the comments. I think you just got to pull your screen down and pull it back up, or you can
All
just
right.
hop out and I'll invite you back in. But so a lot of times when we got our personal credit, I think he hopped out. A lot of times when we got our personal credit, we got installment loans, and the purpose of that builds you up. So a lot of people got student loans, right? Well, the reality is you actually that's keeping your score up. And let me explain why that is. So installment loans are important as well as having like high limit credit cards, because what it tells a bank is that you actually can pay on time for a period of time. So if you have a loan for years and years and years, right, and you're constantly paying on it, you haven't defaulted on the loan, you're actually building a relationship on your credit report that says you're somebody that's consistent, right? And the whole idea of credit, guys, business credit and personal credit, think about the word. The root word is credit, right? Like
Yeah.
what can you be accredited for, right? It's a score, but it's really just a concept of trust.
How credible is
Can
this
these
person? Yeah.
banks can these banks or these people trust you? Can they sit down and actually say, hey, like, look, I'll give you $50,000 because I know you'll do right by it. right? So it's a relationship. So your score, while it can be a 780, if they look at it and it's a 780, but you don't got no trade lines, you don't have any real credit cards on there, that means nothing. It means nothing. It's not going to help your interest rate. So a lot of people get caught up in, well, I got this crazy good credit score, but let's take some steps back. What's on it? So number one, installment loans. I'm going to go ahead and let Z say something if he got something to say about that before we go on to
Yeah,
the next.
and what I want to add to it, Tarp, is what exactly on it, and I want to go how the consumer reporting agencies actually break this stuff down. So, like, let's talk about what's weighted as far as like payment history, utilization, total accounts open, the number amount of inquiries that you got on your report. Like, all of this stuff matters. So for me, and if we got answers, let's give you an example report. We got an example report. I would say the perfect report, and there's no such thing, but it would be above 680, 720, wouldn't you say, Tar?
Mm-hmm.
Above 680, 720, with more than relatively, if you got over 5 accounts open on there, that'll be great, all in good standing. And you want to make sure your inquiries are under 4 to 5 inquiries. That way, these inquiries that we're looking at on a report, what it usually shows is these financial institutions, when they're looking at your consumer report and they see a lot of inquiries in a short period amount of time, it looks like they're asking for too much money. So when we
Hey,
talk about,
before you keep going though, before you
go
keep going,
ahead,
people,
go ahead, go ahead, go
you
ahead,
got to slow it down. You got to slow it
go
down,
ahead,
people.
go
Slow
ahead,
it
go ahead,
down.
go ahead.
Slow it
Bring
down
it
for
back,
people.
bring it back, bring
So
it
we
back.
hitting we already broke down the installment loans, right? Next step, right? We'll talk about installment loans. Let's go to the next thing that's also important, right? Revolving credit, right? Z's talking about inquiries. I know a lot of people like, what kind of inquiry? Let me break that down real quick. So an
Go
inquiry
ahead.
is any time that you go out and ask a bank for an amount of money. If you go out and ask a bank for something, or you go out and ask an institution, or you go out and you're trying to acquire something. So when all of us have gotten apartments or houses, you get an inquiry from that place, right? You are inquiring. So think about that word. You're going out
There you go.
to inquire in order to attain something, right? So you want something back. Dang, I don't know what happened to him. He'll probably come back. But look, so you want something back. You know, you have this you want to go out and get funding for something, or you want to go out and get an apartment or a house, and you inquire about it. When you go out and try to go get a credit card, you inquire about it, right? A lot of times people are like, yo, man, why can't I get this credit card? Why can't I get this house? Why can't I get this car? Like, what's going on? I got a good score. I got this and that. Go ahead and check your inquiries. Go ahead and check how many inquiries you have, right? Because think about this. Think about it like this. If I'm a person and I see every time that you're going out and you applying for this card and applying for this card, applying for this card, the moment I see you applying for a whole bunch of cards, or you looking for a bunch of cars, or you looking for a bunch of stuff, they're gonna have a bunch of inquiries on there. They're not gonna rock with y'all. They're not gonna give you the car or the card, the loan, the interest rate you're looking for, because they're gonna say, hey, I'm trying to add you back here. I don't know what's going on. You may have to hop out and hop back in. See, it's not letting me. Oh, there it go. There we go. The moment they see you going out and getting a bunch of trying to go get a bunch of things, they're not gonna give it to you, because they're saying, man, he's looking for money. He ain't got no money. He trying to get money. He trying to find ways to get his funding right. He trying to find ways to do this and do that. So inquiries are really important. A lot of people, you overlook that, right? And what you need to do, right? And we actually should apologize. The first thing everybody here needs to do, if you're using Credit Karma, you're wrong. It's not accurate. It's not accurate, right? It's not the most accurate. You need to go get the Experian app, right? But you can get a 14-day free trial. And I think it's like $20 after that per month. It'll update every month for you. And
Can
number
I
two,
recommend one, brother?
yeah, go ahead,
That
go ahead.
identity IQ is a perfect one too. For one, it shows you exactly what's on there, and it gives you all 3 bureaus. So Experian will, but you do have to pay after the trial ends. So whichever one, but I know that identity IQ gives one in a little bit more detail than Experian does.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's important to realize too, like we talked about installment loans, we talked about inquiries, right? Let's talk about revolving credit, right? So there's a few different ways that revolving credit can really affect your score. Now, when you're going to actually look to see how much you can get, right? So a lot of times you hear people say like, I got a $5,000 credit card, I got a $10,000 credit card. Or a lot of people are like, man, I can't even get a credit card. The first step, if you cannot get a credit card, if you're let's take it back for people whose score may be, you know, 650 and below, right? And you like, man, where do I get started? got to go out and get you a secure credit card. You can go out to your local bank. You can go out to your if you have anybody who's in the military, you can go to Navy Federal, Penn Fed. You can go anywhere and find. You can ask for an installment. I mean, not an installment, a secure credit card. You get your secure credit card from there. You can put $1,000 on there. That's gonna help start building your credit report up. I know Z, you could probably talk a little bit more about that, but I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and let me
stuff.
let me add to it. So actually, man, I just had a cousin the other day that reached out to me, a younger cousin, and they were interested in credit, and I gave them the scenario about me when I first started on my journey, and basically what I was doing is it was along the lines of what Trey said. It was me going to you literally go to three banks. You can go to three banks in your local community. What I would recommend is one of the big name banks, something like Wells Fargo, Chase, or something of that nature. Like you said, if you do have access to somebody with a Navy Federal or something of that nature, that's perfect. You can also go to a local credit union and then just go to any regular bank in your community. And what I would do is, Tarp said 1,000, but honestly, you can build data points with that bank. Would you say, Tarp, you put $50, $100 in each bank and just go open a checking account? So you open the checking accounts, and what you're doing with these banks is you're building data points in order to build credibility down the line. So for me, if I have a Navy Federal account and I start putting a certain amount and doing certain transactions with this bank, they start seeing these data points revolve in my account history. Therefore, like you said, once I had this account for a certain amount of time, my credit limit will, once I get the $200 card, it'll eventually graduate. So you can go ahead and talk.
Yeah, nah. And I see some questions in here about building business credit. So let's talk about something, right? Like obviously tonight we're talking about the fundamentals, but we got to master the fundamentals before we start getting into business credit, right? When you're going out and you're saying, okay, cool, I'm gonna go out and get, I want to go out and get 10, 15, 20,000 business credit because everybody's talking about it. That's cool and all, right? I want to go out and get business credit without using my social security number. That's cool and all, right? But you have to be in position to do that. If you're not in position, you can't execute on that. So the first thing I would say is make sure that you're mastering these fundamentals. Make sure your score is over 720. Make sure that you have some installment loans. Make sure that you have some revolving credit cards, 5 to 10,000 minimum. My suggestion, right? I'm not afraid to personally guarantor. People ask, what does that mean? If you're going out and trying to get business credit, it's a few things that you're going to need. And we're not going to go too deep in it because that's not the topic tonight, but I'll briefly go over it for people that are asking, right? So one of the things you'll need if you're trying to go out and get business credit is you're going to have to go out and make sure that you're going to personally guarantor. So your score is 720 plus. You have an LLC with all of your information completely filled out. You have a business address, business email, business phone number. Don't go in there with a Gmail. Don't go in there with, Trey Tarpley at Trey Tarpley Business or Pratt Insurance at Gmail. No, don't go in there and do that. They're gonna laugh at you, right? They're not gonna give you 10, 15, 20,000. Once again, like I said earlier, the importance of credit is they're trying to see what type of person you are. That's all it is a measure of what type of person are you. Did you do your due diligence, right? You also need to go ahead and make sure you have your virtual address set up. You also make sure you have an actual website that they can go and look up. So there's a lot more steps. We're not going to get too deep into that.
Yo, and one thing I think you forgot to mention while going over the LLC talk. So what ties you to these consumer reporting bureaus or anybody to where the credibility is attached to it is, for personally us, it's our social. And talk like once you file your LLC, you will get an EIN number. And once you build a certain amount of credibility within your business, you won't have the personal guarantor. But like Tarp said, it's a process that you got to go through with these banking systems in order to just, so for me, I couldn't open up a business right now and get the funding adequate enough to what I really want, like what you see, the 50, 100K funding, if my personal report isn't in shape. Like it just doesn't make sense. So like he said, it's a foundation that you gotta have with a personal report in order in connection with the business EIN.
Yeah. Yeah. And that EIN is important, especially when you get started, because like I said, you still gonna have to personally guarantor. So they're gonna check your personal credit before they go out and offer you any more actual credit. Let's talk about something that's often overlooked when it comes to personal credit. So we talked about installment loans. We talked about revolving credit. We talked about inquiries, right? And why inquiries. And also for the inquiries, guys, like once you go to Identity IQ, Experian, or you go to your actual app and click on the button where it says check credit score, which you can refresh pretty frequently, you go in there and you see your inquiries. You want your inquiries to be like 4 and below. If you have about 4 and below, you'll be fine, right? Once you start getting over 5 and 6, that's when you got to go ahead and get them boys removed or wait 2 years and they fall off. Another thing, inquiries fall off in 2 years, right? I'm just trying to get the fundamentals to credit so you guys can kind of understand before we start getting into the real sauce about like what to do with it and how to leverage it properly. You got to understand like what you're working with. So let's get into the next thing, which is going to be correct information, right? So let's say in this scenario, right, you have everything set up perfectly, right, and you got your credit report set up perfectly. We all probably been there. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get approved for this. I'm gonna get this. You go into Best Buy, you go into one of these stores, you get like the little card. You're like, oh yeah, my score is good. I'm feeling good, whatever, and you still get declined. Now, even if you have all those things aligned, something a lot of people don't know is when you go in and actually look at your credit report, if it's not the same as what you put on your application, they will not approve you. If there's some sort of discrepancy, they won't approve you. Let me give you an example. You have you moved when you went to college. In fact, when you left college, in college you had an apartment, you had your credit card, and all your information on your credit card was at your college location. Well, when you move to a new place and you go to reapply, if you don't call the credit bureaus, what you can do, guys, you can literally go on Google. And I would say somebody, y'all should have the 3 credit bureaus saved in your contact phone for any reason that you can call. Every time something happens in your life, you get a new job, right? Your income rises, you change your status, whether you get married or something like that, or you move, new address change. You need to call the credit bureaus and make sure that it's up to date. This is why it all ties together. You gotta have at the same time you want to make sure that you have
Hey,
your go
Trey,
ahead.
can I add something to that? It's
Go ahead.
actually I just went through a situation that was similar to that, bro. So coming back from Ohio and actually opening up my LLC and me going through this process. So I took my personal process and I just implemented it to my business process. What I'm saying when I tell y'all that is, I took my business, I went and opened up a few bank accounts, right? So when I went and did that, I ended up making a Chase, ended up getting another Wells, and then the last one was Bank of America. And filling out my information for the Bank of America bank just for a checkings and a savings account. And I had put a different address from my college address, and they denied me from opening up the checking account. And then I called them, and I called the business administration people for Bank of America, and we had a conversation, and I got with an accounting officer. Me and him had a conversation. We remit the application, and he had to put all 5 of my addresses that I had previously lived at in order for the application to go through. So like he said, just know exactly what addresses are on your credit report, because it may be something from 3 or 4 years ago where you were in school, lived in a different city, and now it's on your report and you had no idea, and now it's declining you from information that was on your report like 3 or 4 years ago. So just quick little game, man. A story that happened with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she said a lot of people don't know that. Yeah, that's it's game. It's game. Um, but yeah, so your information gotta be spot on and correct. And those are really the fundamentals, y'all. Oh, my bad. We forgot about a major one, utilization. Let's talk about utilization. This is key. What's everybody heard when it comes to utilization? I gotta keep mine 30% or below. Sorry, that ain't it.
Yeah.
That ain't it. I want to hear if it's not 30% or below, what y'all think. What y'all think your utilization should be at? What you guys think an ideal
And
utilization should be?
when he says utilization, kind of elaborate on that talk,
Oh
because
yeah. So if anybody doesn't know, your utilization is like how much of your credit card should you be using, right? Like I said, most people say less than 30%, right? I want to hear what y'all think your credit card utilization should be. There's really no right or wrong answer right now. I'm gonna give you one that will make make sense here in a second. So let me get somebody who comes in here, somebody comment that's been in here, a good utilization that y'all think. Give me something. While y'all doing that, everybody else who joined, man, share this out with 5 people. Share this out with 5 people, man. Go ahead and share this out with some people. Hear what somebody got to say.
Knowing the difference between revolving credit and the trade lines.
Y'all know this new live. We can add more people on here too. So if somebody trying to tap in.
Somebody want a question, man. Somebody got a live question to ask me. Get on here. Get on here. I love to see it. Hey, you got a live question, man. I know you tapped in. You cut from the same cloth. Anybody got a live question, man? Tap in with us. If you got some game to give away yourself about credit, tap in.
Let me see. I don't know if anybody responding on utilization. They might be stumped. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to y'all though. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to y'all so we can keep moving through this. The ideal utilization for your credit card is anywhere from 2 to 7%. 2 or 3 to 7%. Why is that important, Trey? Why that number? Right? Why not 0? Right? It's the big thing. A lot of people are like, I just pay my credit card down every month. Not gonna get to the 800 plus doing that, baby. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Let me explain why, man. Let me explain why. Credit bureaus, man, they want to know, once again, that you can hold a relationship with them. If you don't use your credit card at all, you just pay it down. You're not using their money, theoretically, right? And number 2, it's not showing them that you understand the game. It's kind of like a game, y'all. Like, let me make you think about it like this. If you
explain that business cycle right quick, bro, because I think when people say if you use your card, if you don't use your card but you pay it down to 0, they might get it misconstrued with them using it during the month and that balance not so you know when the payment date is, right? So explain to them not paying it all the way down to 0, but exactly like you still use it throughout the process.
Yeah. Now I want y'all to think about this, right? Think about this. There are 3 important things to when you're paying your credit report, paying your credit card. I apologize. Number 1 is your minimum payment date. Let's talk about that. Your minimum payment date is the minimum amount of money you have to pay so that you do not get a late payment. You don't want not false, but you don't want inaccuracies on your credit report, right? Which means like you don't want charge-offs, you don't want collections, you don't want late payments, you don't want any of that. It's going to decrease your score drastically, and they're very, very hard to get off. So a minimum payment is, how do you establish not having a late payment, right? You have your minimum payment set on there. That is a date every month. It will not change unless you tell them to change it. Okay, important to have that on there. Now, what's the key to that, right, is as long as you pay your minimum payment, you will never have a late payment. So my suggestion for everybody who's still on here and engaging with us and rocking with us, put all of your minimum payments on auto. Put them on auto.
Pick an account that you use the most and just have it drafting from that account.
You need to put it on auto. You put it on auto payment, you're going to be fine. You will not have any late payments. That is the biggest hassle. You should not have late payments because you should have it on auto, right? The second thing, right, is going to be your statement date, right? That is the date, right, that the amount of money you spent that month is due. Why is that important? Minimum payment date and statement date are not the same date. They're not the same date. Okay, so you may have a balance on your credit card, right? So let's give some examples because I know it gets hard to follow, right? If you have a $10,000 credit card limit, right, you can use up to $10,000, right? Let's say that you've used $1,000, okay, and the bank tells you that your minimum payment for using $1,000 is $45. Okay, so you have 10,000, you used 1,000, $45. Okay, you have to pay that $45 minimum at the end of the month. You have to, no matter what, no ifs, ands, and buts. If you don't pay that, you're going to get what's called a late payment, right? So you have to pay your minimum payment. Your statement, right? Your statement balance, right, is how much of the credit that you actually used, which in this case would be $1,000. So if you use that $1,000, you are to pay your statement back. If you do not pay your statement back, you will then get interest, okay? Now, there's a gap between when your statement is due and when your full balance is due. So a lot of people just say, yo, I'm just going to pay the entire thing down. If you go on there and you see your statement date and your statement balance and your full balance are different. When you get out there, when you get a second, all you gotta do is go to your phone and you'll see it. It's gonna say statement balance and full balance. The difference between that two is where your utilization will come into play. Okay, so your utilization should not be 30%. That is not correct. It should be between 2 to 3 to 7%. That is how you boost your score up. That's how you get to the 800s. That's how you remain consistent in your payment, right? In terms of your score being higher, right? Your score will be higher if you have 3% on your credit report versus somebody who only has 0, because they know that you understand the game. Like I said, it's kind of like a game. Think of it like a game. They want to know that you know how to play the game.
Let me add
one. They reward you.
When my boy was going over the payments, I hope y'all, like you said, it's 3 of them. And when you're looking at this interest, now I want to kind of talk about, I know this a little bit of weighted game talk, but I do want to talk to them about the APRs on the card. And if we're talking about holding balances. So,
yeah,
so we do have a credit card. And if I have a $10,000 balance on it, especially, so one thing I would like to recommend everybody is when you're getting these credit cards or anything, leverage them. Like you said, we're using these to leverage them, not exactly just use them to spend and for luxury things. Now, if you do use it for that reason, it's cash rewards. That's a whole different conversation where you can kind of use that. But I do want to say that if you're using it for investment purposes, the best thing to do is go in and look for one that has 0% APR. Now, if you find a card that has 0% APR, what does that mean? And what does APR mean? So that's annualized percentage rate. That's what the APR for the card. Now, when I look at that annualized percentage rate, if it's at 0, so majority of cards, now when y'all looking for credit cards or y'all credit card hunting, I want y'all to kind of break these things down when you're looking for what card fits for you. So me, if I'm doing an investment property, or for me, I'm in the Airbnb space, and I want to carry a balance on the card, and I get approved for $25,000 for a credit card. For me, I would look for something, especially if I'm furnishing my unit, with 0% APR for at least the first 9 months. First 9 months, you got some credit cards do 0% APR up to 24 months. But so what that allows me to do is, once I'm going through and I have these payments, these auto payments, and I have them on auto pay, it eliminates the interest that I have to pay. So that interest won't be as high. So now all I have to do is, if I'm carrying the balance for, like the example Tarp got, we got 10,000, we got $1,000 on there. If I go through and I carry that $1,000 balance and the APR rate on there, that interest is gonna be added with my monthly payment that I owe the card. If y'all catching up with me. Now, if I do carry that balance on there with a 0% APR card, remember 0% APR, that's the annualized percentage rate, what I have to pay on the card. If I do carry that balance on there, the only thing that I have to pay after that monthly payment is just that statement balance. So when you're looking for cards, that's another gem to kind of look at for credit cards is what APR and how long is the APR and how long can I carry a balance on it.
Nah, for sure. All right, look, and I like how you broke that down, man. So let's give them a little sauce, man, because we got some people in here. I think people trying to tap in, bro. So let's give them a little sauce, man, on how to use. Matter of fact, let's do that. Let's talk about how to use a 0% card. So I'm gonna go into what y'all know I do digital marketing, man. So I do more automations, funnels, websites, getting everything. Hold on, here we go. If your credit score drops, you'll run a mile. Late payments will run your mouth. Now that's facts. That's facts. Because if your credit score is messed up, it's all in the dust. But let's talk about 0%, man. So look, when you guys these 0% cards, my man Z said 9 months. I want y'all to take a second and just think for 1 second. If I gave you $5,000 to $10,000, and I said, yo, you could pay me back in 9 months. You could pay me back in 9 months. Right? The real question I want everybody to start thinking about when it comes to credit is this. How much money do you think you need to make in your job to stop working your job, to chase your dream, to build your business, to get you an Airbnb, to get on Turo? start your business? What I mean, that's the reality, right? Like everybody's like, man, don't know, nobody wants to work forever. Let's talk about it. Like nobody wants to work forever. But before we even get into like these strategies, let's think about why this is even important, right? Because if I handed anybody on this live $20,000 and I was like, yo, you could use this to invest in something, I'm pretty sure most of y'all would have at least something you would think about figuring out to invest in, right? So, like Z was saying, when you look at this 9%, 9 months, right, for 0% interest, it's a leverage tactic. You're gonna go out and get the funding to go ahead and make a play on what you want to do, right? So Z does Airbnb. I do more marketing, right? And actually building out individuals' businesses from beginning to end. So what do I have to do? I can go out and hire a team. I can go out and get all the systems that need to run. I can go and get all the equipment I need, right? If you give me 10, 20, even $5,000 to go ahead and get started, right? Without me having to go in my check-ins and savings. Because the whole point of this conversation, y'all, is how to leverage your credit, right? So I want everybody to start thinking about when you see this 0%, right? Because this ain't gonna be the last live we do, right? We're gonna come in here and actually start giving y'all gems on a week-to-week basis. Just wanted to kind of get the intro going. But I want everybody to start thinking, especially with 0% cars. Go out and start looking up cars. Go on to Google, you know what I'm saying? Go on to YouTube, just type in best 0% interest cars. See what
Tell
you
them,
can
bro.
find.
Yeah, y'all
Go
got
ahead.
questions. Yeah, shoot them to the DM for real. Cause me,
Yeah.
honestly, friend I was talking to, I just found out about a different card, the Universe card that we was talking about with the
Mm-hmm.
0% APR for about 24 months. So man,
Yeah.
y'all card, shoot it to us, and we'll tell y'all our thoughts on it.
Man, for sure, for sure, for sure. Like I said, I just want everybody to start thinking, man, thinking differently, bro. Don't think that the money you get from your job or money you get from anything you're doing is actually going to take y'all in the direction, man. You can utilize this credit. Man, everybody talking about business credit. I'm gonna give y'all a little quick sauce, man, because everybody want to ask about business
Who
credit.
else
I don't know if everybody in position to capitalize on business credit, but I'm gonna give y'all some quick sauce. You got something on personal before we hop into this business, man? Yeah, go ahead and stick with us,
Yeah.
Nini. Yeah. Go ahead and stick with us, bro. You got something else before we hop into that, Z?
No. We can go ahead and get into it, bro. We can get into it. Niggas
All
want to
right,
hear
cool, man.
that.
Look, so as I said before, when it comes to business credit, it's a few things you got to have in alignment before you can even get to the business credit, right? So first thing you got to do, like I said, get you an LLC or S Corp. Make sure your business email address set up. Make sure you got an actual business website. Make sure you got a business phone number. You can go on Freedom Voice and get that set up, and a business virtual address. Make sure all those things are in place before you go to the bank. Another tip is, right, for business credit cards, everybody wants to know, go to the bank first. Right, this is really the gem I want to give y'all because it's really about execution. I can sit here and give y'all game about business credit, but everybody's not gonna take it. So let's talk about it real quick. So basically, you need to go ahead and say, look, get your LLC, S corp, everything set up. All the things I already mentioned, make sure y'all got that in place. What I then need y'all to do is go down to the bank, local bank you already have a relationship with. If you have a relationship with a bank, Bank of America, PNC, Regions, uh, Chase, right? Any bank. I need you to go down to the bank. You got to go in, be strategic, y'all. The strategy. It's about strategy. I'm going to just give y'all the sauce for how to go get it. We can talk about what to do with the business credit, but you're going to go down to the bank, take your documents. You should have your EIN number and your everything that you get from the state, right? You filed all your stuff with the state. Go down to the bank. Say, hey, what's up? My name is XYZ. I'm looking to open a business checking and a business savings account for my business. Here's a quick tip. When you go in there, do not overdefine what you do. Do not overdefine what you do. They will take your information. They have codes, y'all. They literally have codes that when you go in and talk too much, you say too much, they're going to take your information, right? And let's say you go in and tell them, I do X, X, Y, and Z. They're going to find, right? Because you got to remember it's a bank. They don't really want to give you a whole lot of money. They can give you some money. They don't want to give you a lot, right? So you want to go in and stick to say, hey, I do marketing or I do consultations.
Because everything else is high risk. I mean, not everything else, a majority, but majority of things that those financial institutions look at. That's
Yep.
why we telling you like the marketing or the conversation kind of piece. That's the real play, and everybody does it within the business. So,
Yep.
like,
Yep. And legally, y'all, if you run a business, you have consultations and you do marketing. Every single business. They have consultations and they do marketing. So why is that even important? Because when you go to apply for cars, right, and they see your code pop up, they're going to base how much money they want to give you based off of the code. If you're in marketing and consultation, they feel more comfortable giving you money. If you say, yo, I do demolition construction, do you think they're going to give you a bunch of money? No, they're not going to do that. You're at high risk, right? And we're not going to get into it. There's literally hundreds of codes, but just trust me, y'all. Just go in and say you do marketing consultations. They say, well, what do you do? I do marketing and consultation. You can tell them the name of your business. That's another thing. Don't make your name so obvious. If you make your name obvious, like Arnold Tarpley Airbnb, what do you think they're going to try to do? They're going to try to say that you do real estate. They're going to try to say that you do rental arbitrage. They're not going to give you as much money. So that is a tip. So, okay, we got that. Y'all got that. You go and get the code. Boom. Sit down. Open it up. Blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. Once again, less information is more. You want to open a credit card. Now, don't open your credit card that day. Open your checking and your savings. Now, y'all, this is the most important thing. If you all go run this play, do not open the credit card that day. Do not do it. Take it. They'll say, hey, you need to put a little minimum payment in. You're going to put $50 or $100, put your money in, right? I want y'all to wait 7 to 10 days. So if you go tomorrow, wait till next Saturday or the following Monday. Do not go in there and say, yo, I'm about to get the card because they said I get pre-approved. This is why, y'all. Banks have data points.
Yeah.
Nearly all of the banks, I think it's like 85% of all banks have data points. So if these banks have data points and y'all go in and say, yo, let me get the card now, and you have not built a relationship with them, even if you have money in that account, you still want to wait because you know you're opening up a business credit card, business checking and business savings account. So because you're doing that now, you have a relationship with them. You go back 7 to 10 days later, they will give you a higher limit because you've built data points inside of there. Now, if you have the patience, I would suggest you wait as long as you can. If you feel like you need the funds immediately, then go ahead and do it. Now, once you start waiting more than like 21 days, you're not really doing anything, right? As long as you get putting a little money in there, you're building data points. And then when you go back to reapply, they're gonna give you way, way more money. All right. So that's all I'm gonna give y'all. Like it's a lot. I ain't gonna give y'all too much because it's you can
One
get
last
deep,
thing.
man.
One last thing I want to add to Trey's point about going into a bank or financial institution and applying. Remember when we talked about in the beginning, everything ties back to your personal report. So even with you going in that financial institution, if you have everything in place like we talked about, you got a great report, you got like a 730, you got a few open accounts on there, few amount of inquiries. I'll be honest with you. When I opened up one of my first business checkings accounts, they offered me a $10,000 card. Don't they usually do that, Tarp? Some financial institutions give you an opening credit limit once you open up a business account if your credit is in good standing. So that's what he means when he says like everybody wants to get the business sauce, but you gotta look in the mirror first and make sure your personal stuff is in place in order to leverage the business play. Because you can't leverage the business play if your personal shit ain't in order. So it's just that simple, bro. Like the biggest thing I would take from it is just learning how to read my report, learning what's on my report, what should I have on my report, and running with that, gang.
Yeah, nah, and that's the thing, y'all. Like, understand the terms, man. If it's something we said that you didn't understand, like words, like installment loan, right? Inquiries, right? Minimum payment date. And that's what I'm gonna say, y'all. The only thing I ask is y'all just go look up your minimum payment date, your statement date, and your reporting date. They're all 3 different times. They're not the same. They're not the same. You need to know when your reporting date is. Your reporting date is extremely vital because that is the amount of money that will show on your credit report. And that is when you want to have 3 to 7%. When your credit report reports, right? When your credit card or your bank reports to the credit bureaus, that's when you want to have 3 to 7% because that is when it will show up, and then they will go and look and say, oh, okay, cool. He's using a little bit of the money. He's smart. He knows what he's doing. And they will reward you for that. So that's all I got for y'all, man.
Yeah, my thing, what I want to follow up with, man, y'all boys get off the credit. Don't stay off the credit. get experience, get
Yeah.
identity IQ, track your report, dog, and make sure you know what's going on there. Like I said, the last little thing, Trey. What would you say is an ideal credit account again? Well, so what should people be looking for in order before we even start any of the funding play? Before we ask for any credit card, before we do anything, what's the first thing our credit should look like?
Man, first thing is first thing you got to do. Let's have less than 4 inquiries. We should have at least one installment loan active, right, or at least one previous installment loan.
Call loan again. Tell me.
Yeah, I got you. Installment loan, man, is anything that reports where you've been paying on it over time at a fixed rate. So if you have a car or a house, so you can even get your rent to report, but that's a whole nother. Ain't gonna get into that tonight. So car, student loans, right? If you have any of those, make sure that you have one of those active, or you at least have one previous. Okay, that's important. One line, I would say about 3 to 4 open accounts for revolving credit. Now, it doesn't have to be not revolving credit. Three to four open accounts, right? So that could be installment loans, a variety of different things. Okay, you want to have at least one revolving credit card, right? So I would say, the limit doesn't matter, y'all. That limit doesn't matter at first for this credit report. You just want it to look well. And your credit score, like I said, if it's 680 plus and you have all those things and you're working towards it, I mean, you're in the right position.
All
You know,
right. Somebody
Go ahead.
might how many credit cards might I need to have? And that's kind of like a trick question, but I want to see
Yeah,
what you
that's a good thing. Yeah, the amount of credit cards doesn't matter. It's what's on each individual credit card. You can have 10 credit cards and they all be, $2,000. That doesn't really mean anything. Or you can have 2 credit cards and one of them's 20 and one of them's 30. So the number of credit cards doesn't matter, y'all. I really want everybody to understand that when you have credit, right, it's more important about what is actually on your credit report than your score. Your score is decisive. It is extremely decisive. If you go in there and you focused on your score, I'm telling you, that means nothing. They don't care about that. Just think about it, y'all. Like, if you go in and you tell somebody, yeah, I'm the man, right? Like I'm the best, right? But they go look at your resume, right? Your credit report is just your resume. That's all it is. It's just a simple resume. If you can say that, right, then what? But you don't have anything to show for it. Then what does it mean? What what Nehemiah say? How do you get larger credit lines? Oh, he want me to get into the sauce. I ain't want me to get into the sauce. I give you a little something because my dog in here. All right, so larger credit lines. I'm assuming you're talking about personal credit. Let me know if you're talking about personal or business. If you're talking about business, that's a whole different conversation. But if you're talking about personal, we can run through that real quick. It's real quick. And if y'all like what y'all heard tonight, man, drop some flames for the kid, man. We out here trying to just provide value, man. We're gonna start from there, really.
crazy.
Yeah. Somebody said business, somebody else said personal. Okay. Give us all the tea. They want the sauce, man. They want the sauce, man. All right, cool. So you got something personal, or you want me to go, Z?
I go. I mean, I really want to hit on the business a little bit, so you can go.
Yeah, I hit the personal. So personal credit for like how to get larger lines. Let's go through that real quick. So essentially, what you want to have is you already have your credit report in place, and I want y'all to understand something. In order to get larger lines of credit, you have to look like you deserve larger lines of credit. What does that mean? Okay, so unless you're going to a bank for the first time and you've had a bunch of installment loans and you just have a lot of cash, right? There's 2 ways you can do this. Number one, as I said earlier, when you go to a bank, I would suggest you go to what are those called?
Credit unions.
Credit unions. Thank you very much. You go to a local credit union, right? Open up a checking and savings account. You're going to do the same play, but it's not business. You're going to go in, you're going to say, hey, my name's XYZ. I'd like to open a checking account, personal. You open it up. You're going to put, I would say, $100, right? And in order to play big, you got to have something to work with, right? Banks aren't just going to give you large lines of credit just because you found the right bank. Like there's this crazy myth that you can just go out and get a lot of money without at least having something built up. You can't go out and get $120,000 of credit unless you have at least a few thousand and you structured your credit report properly. This all goes back to the credit report being structured properly. So you go to the bank, right? And this is different than the play I told you about with the initial business credit. So you're going to go to the bank, you're going to open up a checking account, you're going to put really as much money as you can into that checking account. Why? You're going to put it in there because you want to build the data points once again. But the difference is with these credit unions, they give out 15 to 20,000 off rip. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and hit one credit union. I suggest local credit unions. Reason being, they're a lot more lenient. Don't go to big banks to try to get started. So you go to, let's say you go to 3 or 4 local credit unions in your city, right? Once you go to those 3 or 4 local credit unions in your city, you open up some checking and savings account. You do that all on a Friday or Saturday or whenever you get a chance. You're gonna go in there. You're gonna put some money in there. Let's say $1,000 or $500 into each of them, $1,500, right? There's 2 ways you can do this. There's a slow way and there's a fast way. If your credit score is a 720 and above, you have multiple installment loans, you have multiple lines of credit already, maybe it's like a few $1,000s, and your utilization is 3 to 7%, you have like 2 inquiries, you can do the immediate way, which is literally when you go to these banks, you're gonna wait 7 to 10 days after putting $500 to $1,000 in there, and then you're gonna go to each of those banks, I'm gonna go back to them, and you're gonna apply for a card, right? Now, when you're looking to apply for a card, make sure that you go find their starter card, right? Not their lowest tier card, but the card above that. Reason being is they will typically give you $10,000 to $15,000 per bank if you have all those things that I said earlier already on your credit report. If you don't have all those things on your credit report and you try to go out and get large amounts of credit, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Ain't gonna give it to you.
Yeah, they're not going to give it to you. They're not going to be lenient about it. They're not going to give it to you. That's just not, it doesn't work like that. Now, the second play, which is the play that I advise doing, because patience is a virtue. And if you're really trying to go out and get large lines of credit, right, and you need it immediately, I'm questioning a little bit what your intentions are, right? If you can't wait a month or 2 to really run the play correctly and structure everything, then, I mean, hey, but I understand if you're in a position, you're ready to play. So the second play is, you're going to go back, you're going to open the checking and savings account with the bank. And then after you do that, you're literally going to wait the 7 to 10 days. And what you're going to do is every week, you're going to start putting money in there, right? So take a portion of whatever you're getting paid, a few $100s. You want to start building that account up to where eventually, if you have like $4,000 to $5,000 on each account, or if you don't have that much initially, get it up to $1,000 or $1,500, maybe $2,000. The purpose of it is you're going to let it sit in there for about a month to 2 months, right? And just put in a little bit of money at a time. Why are you doing that? As I said earlier, credit is all about relationships. They want to know what your relationship is, relationship to money and relationship to them. So if they see you putting $500 in there every week for over 2 months, when you go to apply and they check underwriting, they're going to say, wow, this person has been investing in us, right? Giving us money. And y'all know what they do with your money. I know that's a whole nother conversation with how they actually use the money that's in the account, which is also why they're collecting data points, because they know when you put money in the checking and savings, they're going to take that money on the back end, reinvest it, and give you a portion back into it. But once again, we're not going to talk about that right now. So what you're going to do is, because you're collecting data points, after a month or 2 months, you're then going to go back and you are guaranteed, right, to get approved for a much higher limit, because now you've built multiple data points and you've had it in there for 1 to 2 months. Off the rip, if you do that with each of those 3, you'll get at least $10,000 at the minimum, right? If not, if you start funding it properly, you should get 20 to 25, sometimes even up to $40,000 or $50,000. But most people aren't patient. Most people aren't diligent enough to actually go out and do that, and won't be consistent enough to pay attention to it and end up doing something else with it. But if you execute on that properly right there for your personal credit, that's how you'll go get it. I'm not the biggest proponent of going out and getting large lines of personal credit unless you really need it, just because it's if you're getting large lines of personal credit for a business endeavor, then I think you should just get your personal credit line and go get you LLC or S corp and go get you large lines of business credit. So that way you don't have utilization and the whole 9 yards that comes with business credit. But that's another conversation. So hope that was a little sauce. You can definitely go out and implement both of those. That's easy. Literally go to the bank and open up those. And make sure y'all do y'all research, man. Like literally, another thing is whatever bank, and I'll let Z go, when you go into these local credit unions, Go look up. Type on Google. I do it all the time. Go on Google, type in local credit unions, go look them up. Go on their website, see what type of cards they have. Then go look it up. Online, there's all sorts of websites. You can literally just type in blank blank credit union approval rate and credit limit, and they will literally tell you online. There's all sorts of websites. There's also another one, and what's the name of it? I can't swipe up, but I literally just downloaded it. It's a credit app, but yeah, y'all can definitely tap into that. That's two things for personal y'all can do.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give them the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 business structure on how to build, and you can add however you want, dude. So I'm gonna give them so like you said, the basis of credit in any industry, personal or business, is forming a relationship, right? So you guys, when you look at business, and let's talk about the people that it reports to. So you got Dun and Bradstreet. You also got a business Experian, and I think it's a business Equifax, right?
Yep.
You got a business Equifax. So when they report to these bureaus, what you want to do is you want to start building relationship with different accounts open. So now we got to add trade lines to this business. And how do we do that? Now, instead of going and getting a major bank card or something of that nature where you might get denied, or you might only get a $10,000 limit. Now, this is a real play, whoever asked for it. I think it was Neo. Crazy game right here, dude. So you go in, you can either, what is it called? It's called a net 30 account. So you can either get a net 30, net 60, or a net 90 account. And what that is, it allows you to make a purchase and then go back and make the payment. So I'll give you an example of somebody who does net 30.
Explain the 30 and 90 for people that don't get it. What do those numbers mean?
So the net 30, okay, so in 30 days, I have to pay this payment back. So if I make a purchase on, what's today, October 14th, 15th. So before November the 15th or 14th, I'm on a net 30 account. I would want to make that payment before that net 30 ends in order to keep my good standing with that institution. So now let's talk about the institutions that do it for business.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got Uline, you got Granger, and it's a couple of other ones that let you do it. And these are tier 1 lines of credit. And what you want to do is, so for me, I love getting an example. So for me, I use Uline, and for my Airbnbs, I get tissue, toilet paper, and I get it in wholesale form. That way I can just furnish my units with it. Now with that, what I'm doing, I'm building my credit recommendation. So what my credit recommendation is in business, if my credit now, let's say if I got Uline, I got one Uline account open, I got a Granger account open, and now on my Dun and Bradstreet profile, it reports and says my credit recommendation limit is like 1,500. So now I got 2 tier 1. So now let's call these tier 1 institutions. We got Uline and Granger. These are tier 1 institutions. Now let's talk about tier 2. So like I said, we're just gonna give y'all a little weighted game. You go to Uline, open up a net 30 account, make the payments, that process. Now, usually what you would do after that, if your credit recommendation, get that open up about 3 accounts, your business credit recommendation to get up to like 5,000 or 6,000. Next, what you want to do after that is open up a tier 2 account, and that may be store calls. You might go somewhere like Best Buy, and this is all business. So disregard your social security number. This is all business credit. What you want to do is you can go to a store card, get a Best Buy card. You can get a Home Depot card. You can get a 7-Eleven. You can start
a gas card, shell card.
You can get
Anybody
things.
doing trucking.
So once you put these tier 2 accounts on your trade line, what it ended up doing is it increases your credit recommendation limit. So now after you get about 3 of those store cards on there, then your credit recommendation may be up to like 15, 20,000. So now if you have that along with your personal credit doing well, and then you go into one of these store banks and go through that same process that Trey said, going to a bank and then building those data points, open a checking account, open a savings account, and then you wait a week and you also got that business credit that's been circulating. You may get qualified for $40,000 of available credit. And what you want to do is you want to repeat that process in different banks. So I wouldn't just do that in one bank for that one day. I would go to that one bank, get 30,000, go to the chase down the street and get another 20,000. And that's how you get a lot of business funding in one day for people that want to try to implement that.
Yeah. No, that's sauce for sure. People could go out and get that. That's easy too. That's easy too. That's the thing, y'all. A lot of these strategies I don't even use the word easy. Simple. They're not hard.
Yeah.
We be online all day, scrolling, looking at videos on YouTube, but we won't feed our mind. We won't look up certain things. Everybody's struggling, looking at different things, trying to figure out, man, how can I get it, man? I'm trying to start my business. I'm trying to figure out what I need to do, man. Yada yada yada, man. There's two things you could do. You can spend hours and hours and hours on YouTube and Google. You could go out and get you a mentor, or you can start talking to the right people or change your environment, right? But it's two immediate things you could do. The other two, they might take a little time. Find you a mentor, but changing your environment, that's easy, right? So literally just surround myself with constant thoughts about success, constant thoughts about consistency, constant thoughts about business, different things. Like I said, I'm doing digital marketing, so I'm helping small businesses grow. We're acquiring clients by the day. Literally, like people that I don't even know are getting in contact with me through other people because of what I do. So whatever you're doing, man, just make sure you figuring out the sauce that's inside it. Because even what we said, there's so many more things you can do to get funded. I don't know all the answers. I'm not a credit. I'm really not a credit guy, to be honest with y'all. I just
You just got to.
took a mentorship because I know how important it is. Like I don't fix credit or do anything like that. But when it comes to disclaimer, I don't do credit repair. I don't do no credit repair. Don't come to me for credit repair. We could talk about some stuff, how to get funded, but no, not the credit repair. So we just gonna start having topics, man. Different things. Y'all, anybody that's still here, if y'all want us to talk about anything in particular going into next week, we can. I know a lot of people asking about credit, but y'all want like different strategies for marketing or have a product that y'all trying to launch or y'all trying to get into the Airbnb space. I mean, we're just going to start hopping on here and talking about different things every week. But yeah, anybody else got anything before we get up out of here, man? We just trying to talk here. I know Neil been rocking with us. Appreciate you, Nene.
Yeah, Ike was in here too. I don't know if Ike's still in here. Ike been in here. Ray been in here long, strong, man.
Yeah, that boy Ray in here. Ray, what's up, bro? You got any ideas, man? Let me give you some sauce real quick, Ray. You got an idea, bro? I know you be thinking about something you trying to do. You can drop some quick sauce. Anybody got any products they trying to sell? Business ideas they got? They like, man, I got some, but I don't really know what to do, bro. I got you, bro. Next, about to get off here in like 5 minutes, but I'll give y'all a quick overview of how to attack it, bro. 5 minutes, bro. Full sauce. Y'all got something, bro. Drop it in here. Products, like I said, business ideas, ebooks, bro. Anything. Y'all drop it in here, man. We got about 5 more minutes.
Appreciate the game. Love to see two brothers with good financial. Ike, one of those guys. He one of those.
Right.
Appreciate you, Ike.
Yeah. I appreciate you staying tapped in with us. Ray or Neo, if y'all ain't got nothing else. We really need to rap, bro. We really do need to rap because a lot that changed since last time we talked, bro. You gotta hit me. You definitely gotta hit me, bro. We gotta talk because I got funnels built out. We got automations in place. We doing sales funnels, websites. We got somebody doing more marketing and stuff too. So you definitely gotta rap, bro. Nah, if y'all ain't got nothing else, man, we're gonna be out here next week, bro.
Yeah, I'm getting out of here.
That boy straight. All right, y'all. We're gonna tap in with y'all, man. I don't even know how you get out this joint.
All right, bro.
All right, G. How you get out of here? All right, bet. Yeah, hit me, bro. Just hit me. All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed, man. We're gonna catch y'all next week.